What if I told you that the life you're dreaming about, the strength you want, the discipline you crave, the success you chase, the peace you seek, isn't waiting for you somewhere in the distant future, but at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning? What if the version of you that wins, that rises, that breaks generational limitations is already awake, already grinding, already building your future while you're still asleep? This is not just a routine. This is not just a wake-up time. This is a rebirth, a reset, a decision that separates the ordinary from the unstoppable. Because 4 a.m. is not a time on a clock. It is a test, a doorway, a battlefield. At 4 a.m. the world is silent, but your purpose is screaming. At 4 a.m. there are no messages, no distractions, no noise. Only you, your ambition, and the question that shapes your destiny. How badly do you want it? Most people will never know the power of this hour because most people live their lives reacting to alarms they snooze, reacting to problems they ignored, reacting to opportunities they missed. But the ones who rise at 4 a.m., they don't react. They create. When you wake up at 4 a.m., you're not just waking up earlier. You're waking up before your excuses, before your doubts, before your limits. You're telling your mind, I am in control. You're telling your fears, I'm coming for everything you said I couldn't have. You're telling your future, prepare, I'm on my way. Think about it. While others sleep, you step into stillness. A stillness so powerful it reveals what daytime hides, your truth, your hunger, your hidden potential. The version of you that is disciplined, focused, unshakable, it lives in those early hours. At 4 a.m., nobody is watching, nobody is judging, nobody is competing. It's just you versus you. And that is where champions are built. Success doesn't come from shortcuts or lucky breaks. It comes from courage, courage to do what others won't, courage to rise when everything in your body says stay down, courage to step into discomfort because your dreams are bigger than your comfort zone. And waking up at 4 a.m. is that first courageous step. It's the signal you send to the universe that you're ready for the next level. Your life doesn't change with big speeches or empty promises. It changes with decisions, small decisions that feel uncomfortable. Decisions like setting your alarm earlier, getting up when your mind says sleep, and walking into a new identity before the sun even rises. That's the decision that builds momentum. That's the decision that builds self-respect. That's the decision that builds success. So here is the truth. If you want a life you've never had, you must do things you've never done. And waking up at 4 a.m., that is one of those things. The moment you choose to rise at this hour is the moment you stop negotiating with your weakness. The moment you stop living as who you were and start living as who you were meant to be. This isn't just a wake-up call. This is your awakening. This is the moment that changes everything. Before you rise into the life you deserve, you must confront the life you're living right now. Not the filtered version, not the one you pretend is fine, but the real one, the one hidden behind your quiet frustrations, your unspoken fears, and the choices you keep postponing. Because transformation never begins with comfort. It begins with honesty. Look at your days. Be brutally real. How many mornings have you woken up tired, unfocused, frustrated that you're already behind? How many times have you looked at the clock and realized half your day slipped away without purpose? You're not lazy. You're not weak. You're overwhelmed, distracted, surrounded by noise, and trapped in habits that slowly steal your potential. And the scariest part? You've gotten used to it. The cycle is familiar. You sleep late, promising yourself you'll fix it tomorrow. You wake up tired, promising yourself you'll start fresh next week. You move through your day reacting instead of creating, hoping your future somehow improves even though your actions stay the same. You end your days feeling unfulfilled, disappointed, and wondering why your life hasn't changed yet. That's the truth most people never speak. Your life doesn't fall apart overnight. It fades slowly, silently, one undisciplined morning at a time. Not because you don't have dreams, but because your habits are killing what you're trying to build. Every time you hit snooze, you send a message to your mind, I'm not ready, I'm not in control, my goals can wait, and the mind believes it. Every time you waste hours scrolling, avoiding, overthinking, you're not just losing time, you're losing confidence. You're losing belief in your ability to do hard things. You're losing the fire that once pushed you to aim higher. But here's the turning point. None of this is your destiny. It's simply the result of a life lived on autopilot. A life led by impulse instead of intention. A life running in circles because you never gave yourself the clarity, silence, and structure you needed to break through. And this is why waking up at 4 a.m. is so much more than an early morning. It's a rescue mission. It's the moment you interrupt the cycle. It's the moment you say, enough. I'm done living below my potential. When you rise at an hour when the world sleeps, you give yourself something precious. Time that belongs only to you. Time without stress, without chaos, without distraction. Time to breathe. Time to think. Time to rebuild your identity from the ground up. The truth about your current life isn't meant to break you. It's meant to wake you. Because once you recognize what's holding you back, you gain the power to destroy it. Once you see the habits that drain you, you can replace them with habits that elevate you. Once you admit that you're not living at your highest level, you unlock the hunger to rise higher. Your current life is not your final chapter. It's the chapter where you decide whether you stay the same or rise into the life you were born for, and that rise begins the moment you choose discipline over comfort, the moment you choose to wake up at 4 a.m. and rewrite your story. There is something different about 4 a.m., something powerful, something almost sacred. It is a moment in time untouched by noise, untouched by distraction, untouched by the chaos of the world. It is the hour when the world sleeps and greatness wakes up, and if you truly want to transform your life, you need to understand why this hour holds a power most people never tap into. At 4 a.m., the world is quiet. Think about that for a moment. No messages demanding your attention, no responsibilities pulling you in every direction, no traffic, no noise, no pressure, just stillness, just silence, just you and your purpose. And it is in that silence that your mind becomes sharp, focused, and ready to create. You don't need motivation at 4 a.m. You become motivation. This hour gives you what daytime steals from you, mental clarity. During the day, your mind becomes a battlefield. Notifications, conversations, responsibilities, deadlines, problems. You're surrounded by noise before you even get a chance to think. That noise kills creativity. It kills focus. It kills momentum. But at 4 a.m. there is no noise. Everything slows down. Your thoughts become louder. Your vision becomes clearer. Your goals become real. And there's another truth. Discipline hits differently at 4 a.m. Anyone can work when they feel like it. Anyone can start when it's convenient, but few people choose to rise when it's difficult. Waking up at 4 a.m. is a message to yourself, to your dreams, to your fears, that you are willing to do what others won't. It's an identity shift. It's the moment you stop being average. It's where you become unstoppable. Your brain operates differently at dawn. Studies show that early hours boost willpower, creativity, and deep thinking. Your mind is fresh, unburdened, ready to absorb, plan, learn, grow. This is why many of the world's most successful people, CEOs, athletes, creators, visionaries, rise early. They understand that success isn't built in crowded hours, it's built in quiet ones. At 4 a.m., you take control. You're not waking up because you have to. You're waking up because you choose to. That decision alone builds confidence. It builds momentum. It builds self-respect. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to believe in your ability to stay consistent. That belief becomes fuel for everything else you do. 4 a.m. is also the hour of alignment, the hour where you connect with your goals, your faith, your purpose. When you pray, meditate, journal, or reflect in the early hours, your heart speaks louder. You hear what you've been ignoring. You reconnect with the version of yourself you're trying to become. That alignment gives you clarity during the day, strength during challenges, and peace during uncertainty. But the magic of 4 a.m. isn't just in waking up early. It's in who you become because of it. A person who rises before the sun becomes a purse. on who rises above their limitations. A person who doesn't wait for the world to move becomes a person who moves the world. 4 a.m. is not about the hour. It's about the identity. It's about choosing transformation. It's about choosing you. There comes a moment in every person's life when they stop chasing change and start becoming change. That moment is an identity shift, the inner transformation that happens before any external success shows up. And waking up at 4 a.m. is one of the most powerful ways to trigger that shift. Because the truth is, your life doesn't transform when your circumstances change. It transforms when you change. Who you believe you are shapes everything: your habits, your choices, your dreams, your discipline. Most people fail not because they're incapable, but because they're stuck in an old identity. An identity built by past mistakes, past failures, past fears. They say, I'm not disciplined, I'm not a morning person, I can't stay consistent, and without realizing it, they become prisoners of their own beliefs. But the moment you rise at 4 a.m., everything inside you begins to shift. You're no longer someone who waits for motivation. You're someone who creates it. You're no longer someone controlled by the day. You're someone who commands it. You stop living as the person you were and start living as the person you were becoming. Every 4 a.m. wake-up is a vote for your future self, a declaration, a shift in identity. You're training your subconscious mind to see you as someone disciplined, someone focused, someone unstoppable. You begin to tell yourself a new story. I show up, I follow through, I rise even when it's hard. That's when the magic happens, because identity drives behavior. When you believe you're strong, you act strong. When you believe you're disciplined, you take disciplined actions. When you believe you're capable of more, you push for more. Transformation happens from the inside out, not the outside in. This identity shift also breaks the chains of your past. You stop letting who you used to be define who you are becoming. The version of you who procrastinated, doubted, or made excuses doesn't wake up at 4 a.m. Only the version of you that is hungry, committed, and ready for greatness does. When you rise early, you're not just changing your schedule, you're changing your self-image. You begin to notice subtle but powerful changes. Your confidence rises because you prove to yourself that you can do difficult things. Your discipline strengthens because you practice consistency every single morning. Your focus sharpens because you enter the day with intention instead of chaos. Your energy shifts because you feel aligned with your goals instead of disconnected from them. Waking up at 4 a.m. becomes a symbol of the new you, a version of you that doesn't wait for opportunities, but creates them. A version of you that doesn't fear challenges, but grows from them. A version of you that doesn't talk about change, but embodies it every single day. This identity shift is the foundation of everything you're building. You can't rise into a higher life with a lower identity. You can't reach your next level with the mindset of your past level. But the moment you step into the identity of a disciplined, focused, unstoppable individual, your entire world starts to transform around you. Remember this. You don't wake up at 4 a.m. because it's easy. You wake up at 4 a.m. because you're becoming someone powerful. You're not just changing your mornings, you're changing you. If waking up at 4 a.m. is the ignition switch, then your morning routine is the engine that drives your transformation. A routine is more than a series of tasks. It's a structure that strengthens your discipline, sharpens your mind, and sets the emotional tone for the entire day. Most people start their mornings reacting to the world, but you're about to design a morning that commands the world. When you wake at 4 a.m., you step into a time window that belongs only to you. No interruptions, no noise, no responsibilities pulling you apart. This sacred hour becomes the foundation of your identity, your energy, and your success. But without a blueprint, you slip back into chaos. So let's build your morning, a routine that turns discipline into momentum and momentum into mastery. The first step is hydration. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. That first glass of water signals to your brain, we're awake, we're alive, we're ready. Your body has been fasting for hours. Water wakes up your cells, your focus, your energy. It's a small action that immediately creates motion. Next, breath work. Slow, intentional breathing resets your nervous system, clears mental fog, and activates clarity. When you breathe with control, you teach your mind to stay calm under pressure. You create space between you and stress. You step into the day with inner control rather than emotional chaos. Then, prayer or meditation. This isn't routine, it's alignment. This is where you connect to your purpose, your faith, your inner strength. In those quiet minutes, you're not just calming your mind, you're activating spiritual clarity, emotional grounding, and mental resilience. You're reminding yourself, I am guided, I am protected, I am capable. After that comes movement, exercise. You don't need 2 hours, you just need consistency. Move your body, break a sweat, wake up your muscles, your metabolism, your willpower. Physical strength builds emotional strength. The discipline you build in your workout seeps into every area of your life. When you push your body, you push your limits. Then comes the mind. Learning. Something new. Read for 10 to 20 minutes. Listen to a podcast. Study a skill. Successful people grow daily. At 4 a.m., your brain is primed to absorb, reflect, and process. You feed your mind so it can feed your future. Finally, planning your day. This is where you eliminate chaos before it begins. Write your priorities, set your targets, decide what truly matters. You don't drift through the day hoping for results. You create results with intention, clarity, and direction. A planned day is a powerful day. This routine isn't random. Every step serves a purpose. Every habit builds the next. Every action reinforces the identity you're creating. And when you repeat this morning blueprint consistently, something incredible happens. Your days transform. Your confidence grows. Your productivity skyrockets. Your mindset strengthens. Your life elevates. This is the power of routine. It doesn't just structure your morning, it structures your destiny. Before you rise into a higher version of yourself, you must confront the habits that have quietly been pulling you down. Because the truth is this, you don't need more motivation, you need fewer habits that drain your energy, distract your mind, and sabotage your potential. Your breakthrough isn't blocked by a lack of opportunity, it's blocked by routines that keep you stuck in the same cycle of frustration, exhaustion, and disappointment. Every person has 2 lives, the life they are living, and the life they are capable of living. The gap between the two is made of habits, and the habits holding you back are subtle. They don't scream, they whisper. They gently steal your hours, weaken your discipline, and slowly erode your confidence. Late-night scrolling, the mindset killer. It steals your sleep, your clarity, your peace. You tell yourself it's just 10 minutes, but suddenly the night is gone, and so is your energy for the next day. Procrastination, the silent dream thief. You push important things to later, but later becomes never. Every delayed action becomes a delayed life. Disorganization, the chaos multiplier. A cluttered environment creates a cluttered mind. You can't rise when everything around you pulls you down. Comfort addiction, the biggest enemy of greatness. Comfort feels good in the moment but kills your long-term success. Growth doesn't live in comfort, it lives in discomfort, discipline, and deliberate choices. But here's the truth you need to hear. Habits don't just disappear, they must be replaced. The human brain hates empty space. If you remove a habit without installing a new one, the old one returns stronger. So instead of fighting your old habits with willpower, fight them with strategy. Start with environment design. If you want to break late-night scrolling, don't rely on discipline. Charge your phone in another room. If you want to exercise in the morning, put your clothes out the night before. Remove temptation, increase friction, simplify choices. Your environment should support your goals, not sabotage them. Then identify your triggers, the emotional cues that create your behaviors. Are you scrolling because you're tired? Are you procrastinating because you're afraid of failure? Are you avoiding discipline because you doubt yourself? Once you see the trigger, you break its power. Next comes accountability. You don't need someone to push you. You need someone who reminds you of who you are becoming. someone who checks your progress, someone who doesn't accept your excuses. Accountability creates pressure, and pressure creates performance. Most importantly, you must adopt this mindset. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. The hour you lose to scrolling is an hour stolen from your goals. The day you waste procrastinating is a day stolen from your future. The years spent trapped in old habits are years stolen from the life you were meant to live. You break old habits not because it's easy, but because your future is worth fighting for. And when you destroy the habits that weaken you, you make room for the habits that elevate you. Remember this: your habits build your identity builds your destiny. And today, by destroying the old, you take back control of both. Waking up at 4 a.m. isn't just a habit, it's a mentality, a mindset, a way of living that separates leaders from followers, champions from the average, the unstoppable from the uncertain. Because anyone can set an alarm, anyone can talk about discipline, anyone can dream of success, but only the true warriors rise in the darkness, stand face to face with their excuses, and choose greatness when comfort begs them to settle. The 4 a.m. mindset is built on one principle: you do what's necessary, not what's easy. While the world sleeps, you get up. While others hit snooze, you hit start. While others talk about changing their lives, you take the first step before the sun even rises. This is the mindset that builds legends. A 4 a.m. warrior understands that motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. They rise not because they feel like it, but because they said they would. They don't negotiate with their feelings, they dictate their actions. And every morning they cast a vote for the identity they're building, focused, hungry, unstoppable. But this mindset is not only about discipline, it's about resilience. At 4 a.m., you begin your day with a victory. You conquer your first challenge before the world even wakes up. That victory builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. And when you carry that confidence into your day, you handle problems differently. You move differently. You think differently. You act someone who refuses to lose. A 4 a.m. warrior knows the value of delayed gratification. They understand that sacrifices today build rewards tomorrow. They trade temporary comfort for permanent growth. They reject shortcuts because they know shortcuts produce weak foundations. They embrace discomfort because discomfort is the birthplace of strength. And most importantly, a 4 a.m. warrior masters their inner world. They silence doubt through action. They silence fear through preparation. They silence weakness through consistency. They understand that the real battle doesn't happen outside. It happens inside. Every morning is a confrontation with your old self, the one that seeks comfort, the one that avoids effort, the one that fears failure. But a warrior rises anyway. This mindset trains you to become unshakable. You learn to control your thoughts, regulate your emotions, and operate with clarity. You don't let stress define you. You rise above it. You don't let difficulty stop you. You use them to grow. You don't let setbacks break you. You turn them into fuel. Because at 4 a.m., you are not just waking up early, you are training your mind to become stronger than your circumstances. A 4 a.m. warrior also understands this powerful truth: consistency beats talent. It beats luck. It beats excuses. It beats everything. You don't need to be the smartest or the strongest. You just need to be consistent. Because consistent effort compounds. Consistent discipline transforms. Consistent action builds an identity no one can break. When you rise at 4 a.m. day after day, you are proving something to yourself. I am in control. I am capable. I am committed. I am unstoppable. This mindset will not just change your mornings. It will change your decisions. It will change your discipline. It will change your entire life. Momentum is the invisible force that turns ordinary opal into extraordinary achievers. It's the energy that makes hard things feel lighter, goals feel closer, and discipline feel natural. But momentum doesn't appear randomly. It is built through repeated wins, consistent action, and the courage to begin even when conditions aren't perfect. And there is no more powerful way to build momentum than by waking up at 4 a.m. Why? Because 4 a.m. is victory before the world even starts moving. When you rise at 4 a.m., you create a chain reaction of success. Your first win is simply getting out of bed when your comfort begs you to stay. That's not a small win. That is a psychological breakthrough. It is a message to your brain that you choose action over excuses. And once the mind sees you conquering the first challenge of the day, it becomes easier to conquer the next, and the next, and the next. Momentum begins with one win. But at 4 a.m., you don't just get one win. You stack multiple wins before sunrise. You hydrate, win. You pray or meditate, win. You exercise, win. You learn something new, win. You plan your day, win. By the time most people open their eyes, you have already built a level of inner power they won't feel all day. This creates an emotional advantage, a sense of confidence, clarity, and strength that follows you into everything you do. Suddenly, tasks feel easier, decisions feel sharper, obstacles feel smaller, because you entered the day with momentum. Momentum also destroys procrastination. When you start your morning with movement, your mind doesn't have room for laziness. When you start with clarity, your day doesn't descend into chaos. When you start with discipline, your emotions don't control your actions. You become the one driving the wheel instead of reacting to life's traffic. And here's the secret. Most people never understand. Momentum compounds. Every day you wake up early, the next day becomes seer. Every day you follow your routine, your discipline grows stronger. Every day you push yourself, you increase your capacity to handle more. This compounding effect turns ordinary effort into extraordinary transformation. 4 a.m. momentum also transforms your identity. Each day you rise early, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, powerful, and consistent. Over time you stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. That identity shift fuels even more momentum, because the strongest force in human behavior is the desire to act in alignment with how we see ourselves. Momentum also strengthens emotional resilience. When you start your day with control, the challenges that show up don't break you, they barely shake you. Stress feels manageable, discomfort feels normal, obstacles feel like opportunities to test your strength. That emotional resilience is one of the greatest gifts the 4 a.m. routine gives you. And as your momentum grows, so does your life. Your productivity increases, your confidence skyrockets, your goals move closer, your dreams begin to manifest, because the life you're chasing isn't built in giant leaps. It's built in small, consistent steps taken every morning while the world sleeps. 4 a.m. doesn't just change your morning, it changes your rhythm. It changes your confidence. It changes your speed. It makes you unstoppable. Now imagine yourself 6 months from today. Picture it vividly, the life you once dreamed about. The goals you once whispered to yourself at night are no longer distant fantasies. They are your reality. That transformation begins with one simple choice, waking up at 4 a.m. and committing to the life you deserve. This isn't a theory. This is the proven path that every successful person takes, and the results, they are undeniable. The first result is clarity. When you rise before the world, you gain time to think, reflect, and strategize. Decisions that once felt overwhelming become simple. Your priorities crystallize. You no longer drift through the day reacting to chaos. You navigate it with intention. Imagine starting every day with a clear roadmap, knowing exactly what matters most, and taking deliberate action to achieve it. That is the power of 4 a.m. The second result is momentum. Every early morning compounds your wins. Every time you rise while others sleep, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than excuses, better than distraction, and committed to growth. And momentum doesn't stop at your mornings. It spills over into your work, your fitness, your relationships, and your dreams. You begin to achieve more before breakfast than most people accomplish in an entire day. That is the reality of consistent action. The third result is confidence. Discipline is the ultimate confidence builder. When you consistently rise early, follow your routines, and push yourself beyond comfort, you stop doubting your abilities. You start believing in your power. You trust that you can handle challenges, overcome obstacles, and thrive in any environment. Confidence is no longer a fleeting emotion. It becomes your identity. And when your confidence grows, your entire life shifts. The fourth result is transformation of habits. The daily choice to wake up at 4 a.m. is a vote against procrastination, distraction, and weakness. You begin to replace old patterns with powerful ones: exercise, learning, planning, focus, and reflection. Your life starts aligning with your goals instead of your fears. Your energy amplifies, your productivity skyrockets. You become the master of your schedule, your mind, and your future. The fifth result is a life of purpose and fulfillment. Success is not just about money, status, or power. It's about becoming the person you are meant to be. Waking up early allows you to invest in yourself before investing in the world. It gives you time to grow, to reflect, to dream, to act. It gives you control over your destiny. And the sense of fulfillment you feel when you take charge of your life is unmatched. You no longer chase life, you create it. Finally, the ultimate result is freedom. Freedom from excuses, freedom from chaos, freedom from mediocrity. Every day you rise early, every habit you build, every action you take pulls you closer to the life of independence, abundance, and purpose that you've always desired. Your future self will look back and thank you for the mornings you didn't waste. The moments you chose discipline over comfort, action over apathy, and greatness over settling. Your life will not change in a day, but it will change every single morning, every single decision, every single choice to rise. The results are waiting. They are real, and they are yours. If you have the courage to wake up before the world and step into the future you were born to live, everything you've heard, everything you've learned, everything you've felt throughout this journey leads to one moment. Right here, right now. The choice is yours. You stand at the edge of transformation, staring at the life you've always wanted. And the question is simple: will you rise? Will you claim what is already yours? Will you take the step that separates dreamers from doers, talkers from achievers, ordinary from unstoppable? This is your call, your wake-up call, your destiny demanding action. Set your alarm, not next week, not tomorrow morning when you feel motivated. Set it for tonight, for the first 4 a.m. tomorrow that signals the beginning of the rest of your life. Because every second you delay is a second lost to distraction, to comfort, to mediocrity. The future doesn't wait. Opportunity doesn't wait. Your greatness doesn't wait. And neither should you. Rise. Rise while the world sleeps. Rise while excuses whisper in your ear. Rise while fear tries to convince you that change is impossible. Rise with purpose. Rise with fire. Rise with the unshakable belief that the person you are becoming is more important than the person you were yesterday. Rising at 4 a.m. is not just a habit. It is a declaration to the universe and to yourself that you refuse to be ordinary. It is the moment you reclaim control of your life, your time, and your potential. Transform. Transformation is not a distant goal. It begins the moment you take action. Every early morning you embrace builds momentum. Every routine you follow strengthens discipline. Every choice you make against comfort reinforces your identity as someone who wins. Your life will never be the same, because you will never look at time, opportunity, or challenge the same way again. The transformation is not just external, it is deep, internal, and unstoppable. You will rise to challenges with confidence. You will face obstacles with resilience. You will pursue your dreams with relentless intensity. You will become the person you once only imagined. And this is the secret: transformation compounds. One early morning builds into another. One victory creates the next. One step toward your future makes the next step inevitable. The discipline, focus, and clarity you build at 4 a.m. flows into your work, your relationships, your health, your mindset, and your results. The small actions you take consistently explode into massive outcomes. Your life begins to bend toward your ambition, your potential, your purpose. So here's the truth. Your destiny is waiting, but it requires courage. Courage to leave the comfort of your bed. Courage to face the quiet of the early hour with determination instead of hesitation. Courage to choose action over excuses, discipline over distraction, growth over stagnation. The world will keep moving, the noise will keep calling, and the easy path will tempt you, but the path of the 4 a.m. warrior leads straight to success, power, and fulfillment. Set your alarm, rise, transform. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for anyone else to tell you it's time. It is your time. It is your life. It is your moment. And from the very first 4 a.m. you choose to rise, your future begins, bright, unstoppable, and extraordinary. Wake up, rise up, change everything.